welcome back. Force 13 Live. It's 11:01 p.m. UTC. That would make it, I can't even think anymore. 7:02 on the US East Coast, if I'm not mistaken, and 6:02 Central Time, which is where Colin is right now. Tropical Storm Colin, which is located just about in the Gulf of Mexico and has winds of 40 miles per hour, and that's been the case for not very long at all. I'm Nathan Foy. I'm joined by the Skype team, who you've been listening to for the last hour and probably for the next one as well. Hi.
Hola.
Hi.
And how is everyone this evening?
Not bad, thank you, Nathan. And I have breaking news from over here on the east coast of Australia, if you want it.
Go ahead.
Okay, Sky News Australia via their weather channel has put out via their Twitter feed that Sheffield in northern Tasmania has recorded over 200 millimetres of rain in the past 24 hours, making it the heaviest rain in over a century. And it looks like this weather event is going to impact on Victoria for the entire week. There are some interesting fronts to move over the state. So more rainfall for Victoria, and considering the distance from Tasmania to Victoria, I'll say Tasmania will be in the same position. But Sheffield, town in northern Tasmania, in the last 24 hours, over 200 millimetres, making it the heaviest rain in over 100 years.
Maybe Adam. Anyway, go on.
No, it's not that.
Or was it yours? Okay.
Anyway, continue if you weren't done. Here's another look at the... Oh, apparently yes, but here's another look at the Imawarri satellite and the infrared spectrum.
We did have some questions that came through during the break.
Yeah.
Now, where have they gone?
Yeah.
I've lost them. I've lost the questions.
Scroll back up.
I think I scrolled too far. Caroline says, isn't South Florida going to be getting hit hard too? Adam mentioned earlier it was going to be mainly flooding. It's not going to be strong winds, I wouldn't think.
No.
Well, I mean, most of the strongest of winds will be in the deepest of convection, and considering the fact that the deepest of the convections are on the eastern half and the southeastern half of the system, I would say that the South Florida will definitely get impacted quite a bit compared to, let's say, the northwest part of Florida and Alabama. You guys. I mean, it getting hit hard is really, kind of, in perspective here. I mean, 50 mile an hour, probably.
It's
for
not
going
to be
Florida.
Hurricane Andrew, don't worry.
No. I mean, you might get a Hurricane Andrew a little later in the year. Prep for that. But at the moment, no.
Okay.
Right now, it's going to be flooding. It's going to be gusty winds. It's going to be rough seas. But it's not going to be a hurricane. And you know what, guys? All you guys in Florida, I do have to urge you that even though that this is not going to be a hurricane, or it's not expected to become a hurricane, it could, but at the moment it's not expected, that, look, right, tropical storms can do a good deal of damage. I mean,
Allison?
I know for you guys that it's been a good number of years that Florida's actually gotten something direct, to you guys. And you know, the problem with not having any storms come by you directly over extended period of time is that quite a few guys will have become you know.
And not only that, Adam, but even more complacency, because Florida has only really been hit by weak tropical storms or storms that haven't really had much about them. This one couldn't it?
Yeah. Complacency, you guys in Florida should not be, you know, especially the fact that you know, Florida is in the beeline compared to most of the other parts of the states. You know, you guys should really, you know, you know, especially for you. I feel especially sorry for you guys that just moved into Florida in the last couple of years and have no idea what tropical systems are. I am truly sorry for you guys. I would suggest that you find yourself a native Floridian and ask them about tropical systems. They will tell you how much hell these systems can be.
I'm sure there's plenty around. James says, do you think we could get a Cat 5 this year? Oh, that age-old question.
Yeah, that's a question that has been asked a lot this year. The answer is well, at least for me, yes, I definitely think that we will break this Cat 5 drought we have, and we will indeed have a Cat 5 this year. The chances of having a Cat 5 are pretty darn high for this year. So
I think it'll be in August or September.
Yeah, probably September. Though it could happen at any time, even October. Well, just as an aside, Force 13 did reanalyses recently and put Igo up to a Cat 5. But anyway, besides the point.
Okay, just looking at some of my operation going on here. I just started posting on the Twitter platform, and I'm going to direct this to Lee, who is our climate show host. The text of the message is, and it brings into the debate Tropical Storm Colin. Major intensification during this solar storm, earliest sea name storm in the Atlantic Gulf in recorded history. Lee, would you like to answer that one?
What was that again?
Okay, Tropical Storm Colin,
right.
Possibly major intensification during this solar storm.
No, that's a good question. Now, this solar storm's actually minor, so I don't think it'll have too much of an impact on Colin. I think Colin it'll be mainly the sea surface temperatures and also the wind shear. That will determine how Colin behaves. It's too weak a hit from the sun. So no, this one won't impact Colin.
Okay, now the second part of the message relates to the prefix C. Name storm in the Atlantic Gulf in recorded history. Now, can anybody... Earliest C. Now, I'm trying to work out the definition of that
letter.
The
earliest sea name, yes.
Earliest sea name storm, which is indeed correct.
Right, yes, sorry, Colin. Yes, got it.
That is Colin, yeah.
Which is indeed correct.
I don't think it'll be the worst storm in recorded history.
No, it won't be.
I don't think he was suggesting that.
Matter of fact, Colin could possibly be the weakest storm in the Gulf of Mexico this year, possibly.
Possibly, yeah.
But that's neither here or there. It's really they're having the sea name storm this early in season.
Yeah. I still think Colin will intensify a little bit.
Oh yeah.
I don't
It's
think it'll.
expected.
I think it'll go up to about 65. So I'm going to say around about 60 or 65.
65. Alright.
Yeah. So
Upon doing some
just
basic
because of the
research,
minor hit. Right. Sorry, definitely.
upon doing some basic research, I do suggest that, well, just an interesting little thing I picked up whilst doing historical research, as I often do when it comes to storms and potential record breakers and whatnot. There may have been a similar instance in 1791 or 1792 in which we had possibly lots of early season activity in the Atlantic, but that is not confirmed. Just something interesting that I picked up.
That sounds interesting.
And that 1792 would have been coming out of a very big El Nino also.
Yeah.
Not ever so long after the Great Hurricane either, was it? Maybe the Great Hurricane of 1780 and the 1780 season was the 2005 of that day, and they've arrived in 2016 of the day.
Yeah.
11 years later, who knows? Maybe these cycles are there, but we just don't know they are. But who knows? Anyway, there's the system near Australia, and if you've got any questions for us regarding anything, not only Colin, please send us a message. Who would like to take the floor now?
Well, I've got this to show about Colin, and it's from the possible rainfall totals. And the inland in the coast here, we could look at 4 to 6 inches, but overall maybe 2 to 4. But this is this changes every so often, so this is maybe not finalized with the updated totals. This is the forecasted ones anyway. Looking at a bit more here out to sea, so possibly this area that had landfall from Banin not too long ago could have some even more rainfall, depending on how close inland Colin decides to go.
Yep. Anyway, I'm actually going to be heading out now.
Alright.
Alright, I'll be heading out and possibly be back later on tonight.
Alright. See you later then.
Yes. Bye guys. Bye for watching on live. And see y'all later.
Talk soon.
Yep.
Well, let's take a look now, just for the benefit of all of our worldwide viewers, because we've looked at Colin and not much will change for a little while, so we'll come back to Colin again a little bit later. But let's take a look at what else is going on around the world in terms of current conditions and what they may lead to. So mainly wind shear and sea surface temperatures, I'd expect. Just what is going on around the world right now?
Let's see if I can. There we go.
Oh, and what's this? Ah.
Here is the precipitation totals, and you can see the more brownish into the.
Well, you can still see Bonnie quite distinctly on that whole loop.
Yeah, right here, and starting to get absorbed now by the trough, sort of the out here to sea. And here, by the way, you can see this was the thing Adam was pointing out before. Then we have another tropical wave apparently heading into the Eastern Caribbean. So that could not currently tracked by any models or anything, and not forecast to become anything. So just pointing it out that could be some rainfall totals. And here you can see how Colin really now starting to spin up. Really nothing in the beginning, but then in the later frames there you can see how it's starting to get a spin. And that was the main reason why Colin became a TD and now a TS. Here's the global map. Here you can see the mostly dry environment, and this signifies that La Nina is coming along because we got that cold upwelling, and that is causing cold water, and no convection is occurring around that area. You usually got the sinking air over there, so nothing really there.
Looks the opposite in the Philippine area, South China Sea.
Yeah, I think it's monsoon season there right now.
And as Devon was saying yesterday or the other day, that the West Pacific is awful, apart from the South China Sea, but there's nothing actually there storm-wise to develop, is there?
No.
Definitely not.
That is mainly because of how the upper level winds are. They are currently blowing from west to east, and that is basically having upper level winds going on to the storm, and you need the winds to go from east to west.
Well, don't worry, Western Pacific weather watchers. Climatology suggests that your season will begin in earnest within the next 4 weeks, and usually when you see one at a late season start, you'll see the other pretty quickly. You'll see a second. So
I think July, for the viewers, I think July will produce the first system in the Western Pacific.
well, it would be the second time ever to do that so late.
It's just my thinking. I think it's July.
That's what we got in '98, by the way, which was coming out of a strong El Nino as well. Yeah. That
El Nino was actually eastern based, if I remember correctly. Is that right?
Yeah. This El Nino was
central.
Just a hair bit stronger in the Nino 3.4 region, but the Nino 1+2 98 97 was a lot stronger.
So let's just quickly take a look at wind shear in the East Pack and West Pack if we can.
Sure. If I can get it up. Basins. Well, pretty much scattered some openings here in blue. That is indicating low wind shear.
Not many.
So that's it's basically just some spots that are occurring here and then.
I expect the Western Pacific will be even worse. Oh no, not as bad.
And here you can see this circular shape, and that was there's apparently a jet stream loop area that just got cut off from the main flow and just spinning off here.
That invest will be somewhere near the bottom right. Looks like it's under maybe 20 here. Knots of wind shear or so.
Yeah, exactly. So it could take a while before the West Pack could have its system, but we'll never know.
Well, the last visible imagery of Colin is coming through, and you might want to switch over to that to show the one of those thunderstorms blowing up in those last few frames. I wonder
22, 45.
I wonder if that may end up being sort of where the centre is, or whether it's probably a bit to the north and east.
I see kind of a spin here, but it's hard to really.
It's never been forthcoming, that's for sure.
Yeah, because NHG anyway picks it out around here, but as you can see here in the last few frames, there is a bit of a spin to it. They're very small ones indeed, so not a large circulation.
But it does have the weak tropical storm look about it, regardless, and it's a very broad system, and you don't really get many of those in the Atlantic so much. Not really in this region, I guess. I mean, you get some, but not usually. Atlantic storms usually smaller, but this is Western Pacific sized. If it was on the left as well.
And of course, it has that, as you can see here, it has that classic elongated look to it. You know, no circular shape at all. Just you got a dry side and a wet side. That's basically how these. When you got the big trough and a cold front coming from the west.
Well, Florida's definitely destined to be on the wet side.
Yeah, that's usually the case with these.
I don't know what the hydrological situation is in Florida, whether they need it or whether they don't need the rain.
Not sure about the situation there in terms of.
I'm sure someone will tell us, because I believe we do have at least one or two people watching us from Florida. Well, I'm going to take a very short break here, but I'll leave everything running so we can continue the discussion on Colin. If you've got any questions, do send it in, and we'll continue the discussion.
By the way, the low-level Hurricane Hunter plane has now finished its mission and has done its job, and this was the one that they recorded the winds of tropical storm force on the wet side, on the east side of the center, and just overall had the pressure at around 1004-1005 millibars. And then we have another NOAA 9 mission that is in the upper levels around the 250 millibar height or so. That is investigating the upper levels and see how the conditions are around there, and they are still in progress. Let's see if I can. When we can expect the next advisory. Well, the next complete advisory will be 10 p.m. CDT time zone. Will be Central America, I think that is. And here's another radar. Look on Florida. Not too much. We have this area of thunderstorms that still is going on, but they are heading out to sea on the east side, and as well we have the on the west side and out to sea, mainly out to sea. There are some here that's coming on into Tampa Bay here, but small ones that could be. Some could be severe, but not severe warned as of yet. And these are, I believe, these are associated with the circulation of Colin at the moment. Even though circulation of Colin is pretty far away still. You can get a general idea how this will play out. The thunderstorm activity will indeed come up from the south and progress towards the north as the counterclockwise circulation offshore here, and that's going to bring all the convection onshore here onto Florida. Other rainbow imagery.
I like that one.
Mm-hmm.
I like that image.
As you can see also there are some blobs, particularly this one that I've been pointing out that is blowing up over just off the coast of the Yucatan. And it's hard to see, but it could be, like Adam was talking about, a new level circulation, which almost, see if I can zoom that in, right here, that almost looks like a circulation because we can see how it's and kind of bulging up here, and that usually signifies that there is some kind of spin to it here that we also saw in the visible, which I will show you right now. It's hard to point out, but there's a little bit of a circulation that gets picked up here. Going on from what the NHG was thinking out here and most of the models, but I don't think it will make too much of a difference. But it looks like this circulation will be the dominant one. And Colin has sped up a bit from, when it was first a tropical depression, the very first advisory, it was moving at 8 miles an hour, north at 8 miles an hour, and has since then speeding up to 12 miles per hour.
It's starting to speed up then as it moves northwards.
Yeah, and that's also an indication of how usually it's getting pulled by the jet stream and the upper level trough that's moving at a faster rate and is pulling Colin with it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So now is the question how it will tackle that wind shear, and if the wind shear stays away. If it does that, Colin could somewhat rapidly intensify, but
well, some storms can fight it off, but I don't think Colin will at the moment because Colin's not a very good
whether it will sustain those 40 miles an hour or intensify to 65 or 70. Those are yet to be determined.
The point that David made about a solar storm, the only way that would affect Colin is if it was a moderate solar storm. If that was to happen, then I would say Colin will intensify up to a weak hurricane or strong tropical storm. But because it's only a minor solar storm, I don't think it will cause too much harm to Colin. Yeah. That's why that's better. Okay.
Nothing else in the 5-day outlook, by the way, from the NHC, which is good news, I guess. That's we have now nothing that is likely to develop within the next 5 days, or indeed have any chance to develop. Neither of which in the East Pac, excluding these two, that not really changed too much. It still remains a 20% development for this one here at 91E. This one right here, there is
I don't think 91 will form. I think that'll just disappear. I don't see anything coming from it.
And
92, I think, will not develop either because that's heading straight for the coast.
Oh yeah, that's mainly doesn't have time to develop. I think that will be the biggest factor, because you can see compared to 91E, it does have the moisture area at least. But
I think it'll
doesn't
just
look too good.
It'll just be Rainmaker, I think.
Yeah. And it will be. It looks like it's partially a part of this whole moisture plume that is Colin now, and this here and the upper trough that is pulling both this system and Colin towards the northeast.
Yeah, I think Colin's the main focus of the weather across the tropics. I do think Colin is going to cause some really severe floods once it smashes into Florida. The question is, will it come out the other side and hit the Gulf Stream? Well, that's certainly still out of the question at the moment. But,
Yeah, by that point, I would suspect that it is embedded into the jet stream, so it's basically not too much on its own. So it doesn't really. At that point, it will start to be changing into an extratropical storm at that time.
Right. Yeah. But nevertheless, I think it'll be really bad for Florida, and the rain side of things. So, anyway.
Here's another look at the extratropical low that has been impacting the east coast of Australia, and where David as well was reporting in that a spot that have a record amounts of rainfall.
Tasmania has definitely recorded 200 millimetres today.
Yep.
So that's pretty bad over a 24-hour period. So I feel for Tasmania there.
Yep. And expect more of these storms to come, unfortunately.
Yes, but as La Nina does develop, it does produce more in the way of wet conditions and cooler for Australia, particularly over the winter and also into the next summer. Where next summer I think it will be storm after storm. And some of these storms will be tropical cyclones, as we all know, occurs during their summer. So I think most of the flooding during next summer will come from a cyclone. Or a couple of cyclones.
You're watching Force 13 live. It's coming up to 25 to midnight UTC, and I believe Orlando is here.
Hello, Orlando.
But he's not in Orlando.
No, that's strange, isn't it?
He's somewhere else, and it's certainly not here right now. Unless he's having trouble with his audio like he did the previous times. We'll try again soon. In the meantime, let's reiterate what's going on with Tropical Storm Colin and the watches and warnings in detail. So there is a Tropical Storm Watch for the coast of Georgia and northeast Florida from Altamaha Sound to the Flagler-Volusia County line in Florida, and there's a tropical storm warning in effect for Indian Pass to Englewood. That's on the western side, and the former there, the watch, was on the eastern side near Georgia. There they are on the screen. So Tampa area included in the tropical storm warning, extending all around the Bend area. In fact, where's Max? He's under the tropical storm warning right now.
So yes, Max is in Florida.
We'll see if we can get Max on the line pretty soon, if we can.
Yeah. Isn't he in the more Naples, or is he Tampa?
Yeah, near Tampa.
Yeah, and as you can see, it's even though you can see how it's forecasted to come ashore here. The long line here goes almost to the whole western Florida coast. And, goes quite a long way down here. So even though the center of circulation will be quite far from your location, I think the wind field will be expanded upon. So as it comes to the shore here, that's why we have this
because
storm force warning.
Usually the practice is to put the warnings inside the cone and watches outside. But maybe they're mindful that the storm could possibly veer south.
Yeah, I think so as well, but I'm not sure, because with warnings there are, watches. I can understand them being very, broad and big, but the warnings are, they usually put them out when they are at very high certainty that they will get at these types of areas. I've rarely seen a place that had been tropical storm warned or hurricane warned that had not experienced any type of those warnings. So it's rare to occur. Because considering that this side of the cone is not really stretching that far out compared to the south side of the cone, which suggests that this will be the dry side. You can think of it as, always think of a hurricane like the right side is the worst part, and it's basically the same here. So all of everything will be spread to the kind of the south part now, actually, but so that's will probably be the same with the wind field. We'll see what happens. It will be interesting to see once it comes offshore, because as you can see, these types of areas here are indeed in the cone of uncertainty, so it could be possible that the storm could pass over here.
I just don't think it will survive as a tropical entity for that long. I think it'll turn post-tropical around 12 hours before the last tropical dawn.
Around here is when NHG thinks it will be post-tropical. So tropical by here, which is around here. I would suggest that it is basically 100% captured by the jet stream, and that's where it's starting to accelerate very quickly out to sea here. But it could be the borderline between those. But even if it becomes a extratropical storm by then, most of the rainfall could still occur and could still be captured in the circulation. So depends on where. It's interesting how, but I think the most of the models and the NHG official forecast is very much correct with this general track, and the cone is not too big, to be honest. It's rather small, so it's a narrow area where it's not too big of an uncertainty where it will go.
Now we're joined by Cesar.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello, Cesar.
Hello.
Our Mexican correspondent.
Exactly, Nathan. Not so far from Colin is right now.
And yeah, of course. And wasn't that Orlando in the background there?
Yeah.
Oh, finally. What do you two think of the storm? We'd like to hear our different opinions and everything to do with the storm.
Well, when I'm just looking of Colin's airline animations recently. It's a very massive storm. I mean, it's so big, but I don't expect a lot of intensification. Maybe it could make landfall as a weak tropical storm or moderate as so far, I think. And well, after making landfall in Florida, maybe in Tampa or more north than that, it will be dissipated and it will not restrain it again. Well, if from my opinion, I'm not sure what will happen after making landfall in Florida, but so far I see maybe Colin will not restrain again after making landfall in Florida.
I would hope, by the way, that it would make it to the UK just so Nathan can go out and take a selfie with it.
Oh dear. Well, you say that, Cesar. I actually, well, think you're sort of wrong, because it will weaken over Florida at least to some degree and then re-intensify. Whether it's tropical or not is another matter.
Well, it's because Colin will touch the very warm waters. So, well, it's so not confusing, but it's a very big storm, so maybe could re-intensify again by absorbing a lot of energy in the ocean. And of course, it's very disorganized right now, but anything could happen.
And it just goes to show all the different types of storms we have. We've had 3 different types of storms form this year, haven't we? We had Alex forming from extratropical origins, Bonnie being a very small and, well, just a weak system that hardly did anything apart from live a long time, and now Colin, which is very broad and has problems of its own.
Well, maybe we could see another type of storms in the next months.
Well, how many other types are there?
Cape Verde storms,
true.
Caribbean, whatever, I don't know.
Yeah, you're right.
For all we know.
If you don't
storm in the Great Lakes this year, maybe.
Possibly. If you haven't known this data or whatever it's called, Colin is the third. Well, it's the earliest third named storm in the Atlantic in recorded history, and you know that the previous record was achieved by Chris in 2012. And June 17th, if I'm not wrong. No, June 18.
In terms of named storms, yes, but I believe there was a year, a very, very long time ago, I think, which had the first storm on June 11th. But yeah, still.
And now, but the formation of Colin is now the third earliest storm in recorded history in the Atlantic. And, well, of course, it's quite impressive because now we have 3 storms and just 5 days after the start of the official start of the season. But well,
I'd call it was what the.
Well, what I think about Colin, I think it could get up to possibly even 70 miles per hour winds before possibly transitioning. But before that, it may be around moderate before making landfall in Florida, possibly north of, most likely because the models north of Tampa, and from there it'll just pretty much scrape the coast a bit and then just head out straight out to sea, and before you know it's just going to be extra tropical.
Do you guys think that it's important for Florida to have these, weaker storms, having a tropical storm here and there and possibly a hurricane, and before maybe getting the ultimate Cat 5, then just having no storms at all this season, and then September rolls around and you get a 200 miles an hour Cat 5 rolling through?
Difficult to say, but I certainly think it's natural, whatever we may see, weak or strong, few or many. I think they're natural processes. And
yeah, but I mean, just getting people more ready than just having nothing around Florida region.
I don't know, because it's a strange one. If you get nothing, then people will think, I don't know, because if you get lots of tropical storms before you get a big hurricane, then people might be more complacent. Whereas if Florida didn't get any tropical storms at all, and then a big hurricane came, like Andrew maybe, which was the first storm of the year, people might take it more seriously. Did they take Andrew completely seriously? Some did, some didn't.
No. Yeah, what did they say? Play this with minimal wolf. Oh.
Somehow the female named storms take more lives than the males.
Oh yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
it's a strange. I forgot the word, but it's very strange because most of the female names that we had in history, when the males and females names are merged, or whatever, and the female names are the war storms. I mean, we saw Patricia in the last year, and we had in the Atlantic Katrina, we had Wilma, Rita, Hortense, but what? Of course, we had male names, but the most important storms are female. So that's quite of
Yeah,
interesting.
well, it's just a coincidence that
What
the
about
female
Mitch?
names happens to be the stronger ones. Sorry.
What about Mitch?
Mitch is not a female name.
And Alex.
Yeah, Alex can be both male and female.
Alex is, well, in the
Yeah,
in
that's
the Atlantic
true,
list is male. I hate Alex. You know how
No,
much
I was
hate
saying,
Alex.
the male names do have representation as well. Keith, David, quite a few. But yeah.
Nathan, let me tell you something. The first time I heard about the name Keith, I thought it was a female name.
Oh dear.
Olaf, I thought that it was female.
Hey, hold on a minute. Hurricane Cesar has been retired as well.
Yes, I killed 140 something in Nicaragua.
Yeah. And Gordon killed a lot of people but didn't get retired in 1994.
1982, Hurricane Paul
Yeah.
killed around.
Yeah. But the females still win indeed. But hey, who knows? That might change later on. You never know what's going to happen in the season. I don't think it's going to start with Colin now. That's if the people of Florida take things seriously, of course.
Well, I'm still having doubts about the decisions of retiring the names. After they retired Joaquin and Erica, I just compared with other storms that should be retired before, and they're not.
Well, yeah.
So
if you retire Joaquin, you've got to retire plenty of other storms.
Well, of course, I'm more agree of the retirement of Erica than Joaquin. I mean, Joaquin sang a boat. Well, it's not a boat, but of 33 crew there, but.
And they just had to rename her Elsa.
But I mean, why the people were traveling when a cyclone was like 3 or 4 days in the same place, you know? So I mean, they're responsible and not. I mean, it's like not indirect deaths, but the people had died took the decision to travel when the storm was there for nearly 3 or 4 days. But well, I'm not saying that it's not fair to retire the name, but I think I mean the storm was there for a lot of time, and they can take other better decisions.
I mean, we're sort of going off topic here, but we'll keep going anyway. But
Of course.
you know, I think retiring names should have some sort of rhyme and reason behind it, some sort of set criteria. You know, we had Erica retired last year, but why do we still have Tropical Storm Matthew in the naming list this year after it killed over 140 people in 2010?
Or Hurricane Hannah in 2008 killed 500.
Maybe.
Or Agatha in 2010 it killed about 300 people. You know, I don't know what the hell are the decisions or what are the criteria to take of retiring a name, but I heard
Well,
about
if it was me, I'd put one down anyway, just so there's no confusion.
Of course, but the only thing that still getting me confused is because why the country should request the retirement of the name. I mean, it's like you're not taking conscious about the disaster of the storm has made.
And Mexico never requested, did they?
Of course, I mean, what the hell? They haven't retired Alex and killed more people and made more damage than Ingrid.
And Patricia.
Well, they retired Patricia because of the record-breaking wins, I think. Because
Really?
only
Why?
Yes.
They didn't retire Tip. They didn't. Tip was used twice more afterwards.
Yeah.
Well, pretty
Well,
much.
maybe that was when those rules were kind of, it was different back then, I guess.
Oh, gee. I just think people are getting soft. It might sound insensitive of me. I just think, I don't know.
Oh, you mean like they
I
are?
agree with you, Dave, by the way.
Yeah, they are seeming to be a bit more. Well, I think they're doing it a bit for the media as well. They were big in the media when they were around, and for them to be remembered a bit more, they just retired them. Because storms that don't get retired usually gets forgotten. Usually,
Yeah.
not always.
Yeah, it's very true. I don't know, but hey, if they keep ramping up the retiring storms, they'll run out of names. Anyway, back to Colin. Anything that anyone would like to point out that's happened recently with the storm, and anything that you're looking at right now?
I'm still checking out stuff.
Yeah, you can see the infrared imagery running in the bottom right of the screen. There's a little pop-up of thunderstorm activity right on the northeastern tip of the Yucatan.
The latest
they're forming
the latest intermediate advisory is out, and the pressure is down to 1,003 millibars. Slowed down a bit to 9 miles an hour from 12 miles an hour.
That's weird. Colin should be accelerating because he's being pulled by the jet stream.
Yeah, I know. It's kind of weird. He's sped up a bit. The first advisory when it was still TD was moving at 8, and then advisory 2, I think, it was speeding up to 12, and now down to 9.
Weird storms, and actually, I don't see really well the low-level circulation.
No, it's really hard to pick out. The hurricane hunters are having troubles as well.
So very disorganized storm. What an ugly storm. Damn.
Well, I've got some historical reference that I'm going to talk to you about here. I've just put up here on my screen, but you can't see it on the stream. Never mind, I'll just tell you about it. All the storms that have passed within 100 miles of Colin's location as a tropical storm and what they did. So, in June. So there was an unnamed storm in 1913, made landfall near Cancun and became a hurricane near Mexico, but plenty of others that went further east. Let's see if I can find one that's particularly similar to Colin. There was one, a storm in 1945 that was moving northwards into the central Gulf of Mexico, pretty much drew parallel with Tampa, just slightly south, and then a kink towards the east-northeast, rapidly intensified into a Category 2, then weakened to a Cat 1 before making landfall in Florida. I'm not sure if that's going to happen with Colin. Another system... Go on. Who was that?
I don't know.
Hello?
Skip. What?
I'll continue with this OB.
Keep talking, Nathan.
Yeah. The first storm of 1995, Allison, appears to be quite similar. I think it was a little bit more developed by this point. That was an early June storm as well. Moved towards the north, became a Category 1 hurricane in the Gulf of Mexico, weakened to a tropical storm again before landfall not far from Tallahassee. and a few others. Let's see, any others that are particularly relevant. A fairly recent one, Alberto of 2006, dove to the west a little bit before diving back towards the northeast, making landfall on the Bend area of the Florida Panhandle as a tropical storm. Never reached hurricane status. An unnamed storm of 1936 was doing just fine, moving north. And then just as it moved a little bit further north of Colin, parallel with the Florida Keys, it decided it wanted to turn right and hit the Everglades as a tropical storm, and ended up right over Miami and over the northernmost Bahamas. I don't think that will happen with Colin. Another notable June storm that passed within 100 miles of Colin, Hurricane Agnes of 1972. Category 1 landfall in Florida and turned out to be one of the worst storms. Certainly Devon bigs that one up because it affected his area, I believe, quite extensively when it made its presence felt in the northeastern area and the mid-Atlantic. And just one more. An unnamed storm in 1886, which was a tropical storm not far in the Yucatan Channel in June, became a hurricane not far from where Colin is right now, and became a Cat 2 before making landfall south of Tallahassee. But those are all the storms, and I don't think many, if any of them, will be similar to Colin. I think the forecast has got it pretty nailed down.
Is not Colin taking a track very similar of Charles in 2004?
No.
No.
Charlie went down farther south than Colin. Portsmouth.
So I was very, very far from there.
I think Andrea in 2013 was somewhat of that.
Yeah, we pumped, both me and Lee have been pumping this out a lot. We're
Oh my god.
comparing this storm with Tropical Storm Andrea
All right.
in 2013.
Well,
God,
we're going to
sorry
take
for my confusion.
We're going to take another short
On you
break
go,
here at
Nathan.
Force 13 HQ. We'll be back at the top of the next hour. Stay with us. We'll have another hour of discussion, and then we'll be finishing up. Stay tuned.
These are your countries about to kick off against Uruguay.